I broke my bladder in Denver.
All right.
That's a song.
I broke my bladder in Denver. That's a song.
Hey, it's Carol's sweater.
Oh.
Carol.
Mommy touched me.
Yeah. Alright, so that one down.
Woo.
And that one is junk, so that can go away.
So here's the split. So we have the explaining the spleen.
Explaining
So
the
we want to talk
spleen.
about that next?
But what you also talked about, how an 11-year-old cannot be held accountable
Yeah,
in a
it's a good
decision as an
transition.
adult. Also could transition really easy to the fact that both of our kids got baptized this weekend.
Yeah, I think that's a good segue.
All right.
So I kind of feel like they're both really important, and I don't know. I'm standing at the fork in the road.
No, go with the kids getting baptized and your whole deal.
So then
Get that out of the way.
Yeah, I suppose.
That stuff's more important than Splain. People can watch Splain, but we can
definitely make their own
judgments.
Yeah, pretty easily there.
Yeah.
Spleen. So do I go first or you go first, Tyler? I don't know. I don't even know.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, mine will actually probably be a little bit quicker than yours because you
All
actually got something to read on it. So,
yeah. Take it away.
So I found out
Floor is
about
yours.
a week and a half. I found out probably a week and a half before that my oldest daughter was getting baptized. Woo! You got like a drink Karen over there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ethan was building a can tower
Sorry, ADD.
with a apostate mug on top balancing.
I like that one. So yeah, I found out that my oldest is getting baptized.
No
Today.
names. No names.
Yeah,
No names.
I'm not giving names.
Just gotta-
So I said my oldest
Today.
Yes, thank you.
today. So
Today.
I imagine she's
Imagine by now.
baptized by now.
Yeah.
Sometime this afternoon, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay. I didn't hear anything from her. I was talking to my youngest, who was on vacation with some friends in Wisconsin. And so I talked to her, and it was, hey, what's up? And, oh, not a lot. And we've been going to the lake and biking and all this shit and having fun. And what's your sister up to? So, well, she's getting baptized. Oh, okay. So when is that? Well, we're all going back next Sunday. Okay. So that was supposed to have been, today. And I was like, well, I'd like to go. I mean, it's my kid.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the teachings. I don't support the religion, but I support my kids. So I made it clear that I wanted to come. And I was told by my kids that I was not welcome, that it was not, that it would make people uncomfortable, which is, unfortunately, I'm sorry, that's tough for them.
Yeah.
If other people want to be uncomfortable, like, what am I going to do? I was, my mother even texted me, wondering if we're going to make a scene or if, going to, can't be posting, video of people, on the internet and stuff like that for your podcast. And, she doesn't want to, you don't need to be here exposing your daughter to apostates and atheists. And I'm like, okay, well, so I was told that I was not welcome, and I guess I haven't spoken to either of them since. No, I take that back. I did talk to my youngest Friday
Yeah.
because we had to drop a couple things off at her place. But aside from that, hadn't heard anything. And yeah, so kind of see how that goes. I was told my oldest said she talked with a couple people, and they all decided that it would be uncomfortable if I was there.
Because she started out seeming favorable to letting you be there.
Yeah.
That she was okay with it. And then by the next day,
Mhm.
I think,
the next
she said
afternoon.
she talked to Your mom had also sent that message.
Yep.
Which prompted you, I think, to call your daughter.
Yep. Who said that she had never talked
Because your
to
mom had said, yeah, and then your daughter said she never actually talked to your mom about it because your mom was saying you're not welcome.
Yeah.
And then you talked to your daughter, and she was like, it seemed that she was okay with you being there.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got the message later saying she had talked to others, and everyone felt it wasn't the right thing to do, that you shouldn't be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I could read that text. So I talked to a couple people, and I've decided that everyone else attending and I would be more comfortable if you didn't come to my baptism, since what me and others have seen has been the opposite of wanting to support me and sister. I just think it's best if you don't come. So that is what my daughter said. And the night before, the afternoon before, my mother had said, oldest daughter doesn't want her baptism to become subject matter for you to entertain apostates and atheists. I'm sure you can understand that. So she doesn't want you there. It would ruin the event for her, and respectfully, it's her choice, I think, in case you are planning on it. Youngest daughter said you wanted to be there for whatever reason. Please just allow us to be joyful over the occasion without worrying about you showing up and being a spectacle. Thanks for understanding. So I said, so now I'm not even allowed to support my kids. Got it.
Right.
And she said, there are other ways. We all know you don't support their religious efforts, so there's really no support in your being there. It's her choice, so I guess that's the way she feels about it. And I said, whatever.
So
That
doesn't condone much of a response, honestly.
No, yeah, it doesn't.
That's not really her. I'm sorry, but that's not any of her business.
Exactly.
Either. She's your mom, but you have no say.
Right.
So.
Yep. So I was like, all right, whatever.
So yeah, then I said, why don't you check with your oldest daughter?
Mm-hmm. And she seemed okay with it. And then the next day she texted me not okay with it.
Yeah, because she probably said something to somebody, and they're like, no, you can't come.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Whatever.
So that was today.
To entertain apostates and atheists.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we do here is,
Mm-hmm.
We expose little kids getting baptized to laugh
entertain.
at and entertain people.
No.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. But yesterday,
I guess that segues in me.
So that was my kids getting baptized experience. What do you got?
So where do I start? So
Did you bring those books?
yes, I did.
Are they down here?
Yes. They're in the tree bag. Anyway, okay, so last weekend normally would have been the weekend their dad would have legally, like custody-wise, would have had them. But then Tyler had an opportunity for the boys to be in a parade. So I messaged their dad. Normally he does not want to trade anything, anytime, any special things, doesn't matter what it is. I just try every once in a while.
Right.
I was figuring this was going to go nowhere. But I was like, I'll try, see if the kids could have an interesting experience being in a parade.
And we had a great time. They loved it.
He agreed to it. I remember thinking,
I missed her.
why is he agreeing to this?
Yeah.
Great, but why? I'm going to hear about it eventually. I'm going to figure out why. Some reason.
Yeah.
So that reason came out at the parade. So my oldest has had knee surgery for the second time in a year, a few weeks back.
Yeah.
Around the time-
surgery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
He has problems with dislocating his knee. They can't do the permanent thing until he is fully grown.
Mm.
And he's almost 14. So it's going to be a while. Anyway. So he is my second son and his best friend participated in the parade. My youngest and oldest stayed with me. My youngest scooping up candy, all about it, super excited,
Tootsies.
My oldest son just kind of hung out in the shade and whatever in his chair. But then my youngest one wanted me to come sit by him. He's like, I want a family member next to me. I said, all right. So I grabbed a chair. Then I kept feeling this like vibrating in the chair. I'm like, what the heck? So like I opened up the pocket. I'm like, it's my oldest son's phone. I'm like, what's going on? So I looked at him like, message from his dad saying, I'll see you in 30 minutes if you can. I'm like, what? what's going on here?
Yeah.
So then I went into his messages and I was like, huh. I went in there and that's how I found out that my son was getting baptized yesterday. So, and the reason his dad was saying, I'll see you in 30 minutes, because they had set up a Zoom meeting to discuss baptism stuff, I guess, for 1 o'clock that day. That time it was like 12:30. And sent him the code, which I find entertaining. The passcode's 1914. What do you know? Like,
Yeah.
they use that in so many things, and like Kingdom Hall codes. And sorry, I'm not the cat.
Ours was always either
bag.
1914
I don't
or
know.
Matt 2414.
Yeah, for the Wi-Fi at the hall.
Yeah, it's like always seemed to like hinge on those two scriptures,
Yeah.
like those dates, or anyway.
Yeah.
And I was like trying to process this, sitting there, and it's a loud parade, and like it's super hot as well. And my son, my oldest son, is off away from me. He was not next to me because I was with my youngest. And I was like, how am I going to handle this? I could discuss it with Tyler. He's in the parade.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what's going on. So I decided to take, I went and took screenshots of it with my phone. I was like, until I can sort this out. A part of me was like, I should call him that Zoom call and be like, hey, the brother, not my son. What you doing?
What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
How you guys doing?
I want her so bad. I didn't. But I was going like through the messages in here. It's talking about, there's like one elder that say he's going to keep him in his prayers, and he had to do the exact same thing as my son did, because his dad was very opposed to the truth. And they'll be watching you, like on Zoom, I imagine, like his actual baptism. And then another elder was mentioned and said that he was going to be in the same boat as well, and his mom was opposed. And everyone is very proud of you, son. That's what his dad said. My son said thanks, darling, thank you. And then there was this message, see you in 30 minutes if you can. I'm like, okay. So then right around 1 o'clock, my oldest saunters over and he's like, I need my phone. He has no idea that I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. He's like, why? And I said, well, it looks like you're getting baptized, huh?
Yeah.
He's like, well, yeah. He's like, just so you know, he like grabbed his phone and walked up, I'm getting baptized, and walked off. And I'm like, you're not walking away from me. So I went over to him. I tried to stay very calm, even though I was like, on the inside. And I'm like, so I can't remember how exactly the discussion went, but I was trying really hard to ask questions and get his perspective instead of just like reacting.
Yeah, rather than telling him how it is.
I said, so you're agreeing to this. This is what you want. He's like, yes. I said, okay, why is this what you want? And he's like, well, I think it's the truth, and I think it's the true God, and I think it's the right thing to do. I said, okay. I said, do you understand what will happen if you change your mind later? And he's like, yes. He's like, and I'll repent and come back because it's the right thing to do.
I said that at 14 too.
Yeah, I probably would have too. I'm like, and I said, I'm sorry, but I should not be hearing about this through a text message by accident.
Right.
And he's like, well, Dad and the elders wanted me to wait until after it was done because they think you're going to persuade me to not do it. He's like, and I fought them. I said, no, that you should know ahead of time. And I said, okay. I said, do you want me to be there? And he's like, yeah, I want you there. And I told them that. He's like, that I'd really like that if you were there. And I was like, can I deal with this? It's like super triggering, you know? Like,
yeah.
But I wanted to support him because that's something I've always tried to do with my kids dealing with this. Is to try to support them within my own conscience and boundaries, but let them be who they want to be. Because if you push your ideas on them about religion, it makes them just go to it more. I felt like it makes them want to believe it more. It makes them kind of put up a wall.
Yeah.
So I've tried very hard to respect their wishes, but also be the parent and do what I think is best like walk this really fine line. Like it's a balancing act all the time. And within my divorce decree, when I was leaving, I was still kind of mentally in a little bit, but physically out. So I did make concessions where I regret doing that now. And at the time of divorce, my ex-husband tried to get me to write a letter and sign it saying that I will not interfere with them being raised as Jehovah's Witnesses. I was just trying to get out from this marriage and get this done. And I couldn't afford an attorney and stuff that time. And a free one was going to take a really long time. It was a long wait list. So I did my own divorce. So what I did is I wrote in there something to the effect of they can be raised as Jehovah's Witnesses as long as it does not affect them negatively or cause them anxiety. Or basically, the choice, they still get a choice in this. So I'm glad that's kind of like written there. But then something's like, it's been this long battle all these years, 6 years of what does that mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So back to the baptism conversation, my oldest was insistent that only the people doing the baptizing and the people getting baptized would be allowed. Everyone else is through Zoom. And so, so his dad, I assume, baptized him because his dad was going to be there and part of it. So I said, well, you're trying to tell me not even your stepmom is allowed. So I said, I'm your mother.
Mm-hmm.
You would not be in this world.
Right.
Unless for me. It's like, I grew you, birthed you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's like, well, no one else. No one. He's like, it's only dad. And whoever baptized, it's not even immediate family. Like, fishy, but okay.
Yeah.
So then I ended up writing, I kind of let things simmer down. I feel like I'm missing a piece, but like, how did that go? I can't.
Well, you made it very clear that you're not going to allow it to.
Yeah, I made it very, very, very clear to him several times in that conversation that I will not let this divide us. I am still his mother. That even if I am disfellowshipped and now he will be baptized, that better not affect our mother-son relationship. I will not stand for that. Mm-hmm. No way. I said, I'll do my best to support you in your decisions, but that's crossing the line if that
and hopefully
that.
He doesn't think like, well, I'm the man of the house now, and I get to like.
Oh.
No, we're gonna pray at dinner.
No.
I can see him trying to do that.
He might. I don't know.
I could see him trying
but he also knows I would never stand for that.
Right.
No way.
I could see him trying to
he might.
in a prayer before.
But see, he reminds me a lot of myself. When I was his age, I was all for it, and
right.
My own parents were kind of fringe witnesses, kind of their own version of being a witness, and I was more by the book. And so, like, I used to even drive my siblings in meetings because my parents didn't go super frequently or like out in service. So I get it where he's coming from, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna just lay down and take it either.
Right.
So I ended up writing his dad an email because my oldest, he said he did not appreciate how his dad was handling it at all. He felt that I should know ahead of time. And I was like, well, you need to talk to dad about that. Cause I was just like, oh, that's not like, I should not be finding out this way. And then, so I wrote his dad an email being like, this is so underhanded and deceitful. Like, this is unacceptable, basically, is how to sum that up. And then he came back at me with something. I think it was the email I was going to read. Oh, whatever. Now I did it.
It's hard.
Normally I'm really good at it. I don't say names. So his dad never responded to the original email of mine. Mm-hmm. And then I just happened to be going upstairs to do laundry, and all of a sudden my son was on his phone and shut the door and locked it to his room. And I knew it was his dad. I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, no, you open that door. You're not going to sneak around.
Yeah.
And so then he did. But I could hear the conversation, parts of it anyway. And I could hear that he was defending me. He wanted his mom there. He was really pushing for it. And his dad was not happy that I went through his phone.
Yeah.
And I was like, well,
He's 14.
when he got the phone, I
You're
said,
the
I want to make
mother.
some. I was trying to be very calm because I was still like, very calm. Like, just so we're clear. Once again, I'm going to tell you this better not divide us. Second of all, I have the right to look through your phone at any time as your parent. And if that's going to be a problem, that phone's going to stay your dad's. Like,
Yeah.
you guys have a home line that you can talk to your dad at any time.
Yeah.
Anytime. You don't have to have the cell phone. And
Right.
if you keep sneaking around,
I didn't
and
even have a
especially if your
cell phone
dad has an
15.
issue with me looking through your phone, no, sorry, that's not going
Tell them
to.
to keep it then.
Yep, your phone doesn't get to come here then. I said, just so we're clear with that, if this keeps happening, that's what's going to happen. He's
Yeah.
like, I understand, you know.
And it's not like you go through his phone regularly or something like that.
No, but I'm like, I will do random spot. I'll be like, hand it over.
now.
Yeah, especially now, there's other stuff going on too, which I'll get in some other time.
Yeah.
A lot of other underhanded things going on. So, and it sounded like they had come up with this plan where they were going to send me a separate Zoom link if they absolutely had to. Like, if I couldn't get the original link that everyone else was going to get, then they were going to like do a separate one for me. I don't know who was going to be recording it, but like somebody through like their dad's phone or something so I could attend. I guess. I don't know. But then I got an email from their dad saying, where is it here? He said, hi, I want to remind you that you went to court 2 years ago attacking our religion, claiming that it was a cult and detrimental to children, causing them stress and anxiety, even though you agreed they would be raised as Jehovah's Witnesses. You made your position clear as far as religion. Side note on that, yes, took him to court. One, my son wanted out at that time, and I was trying to protect him and get him out. Second, this email completely ignores all the other stuff I've gone to court for, and one of them being that their stepmom was pretending to be a doctor, among so many other things.
And to be fair, that divorce part said, yes, they can be raised as witnesses as long as it doesn't cause any mental health or anxiety issues.
Yeah.
Which it's
And he has tried to tell me in messages before, like, I am not to be teaching them any the religion teaching stuff falls on him only.
Yeah.
I am not to ever talk about religion with my children.
Ooh,
I'm
big
like,
man.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Yep. Get bent.
So then the email goes on to say, one becomes a Jehovah's Witness after studying the Bible, not at birth like most other religions. And sorry, damn it. Made the decision to get baptized on his own as a very mature, soon-to-be 14-year-old. He is capable of making certain decisions on his own, and this is one he pleasantly surprised me with, which I fully support. I would be fine sending you an invitation. However, this event will be joyous and special to many people in attendance, and we avoid any potential disturbance to the program. What are your attentions?
Yeah,
Attentions and attending. I was like, will Tyler be attending?
Yeah.
So I wrote back, I think you're missing the point. Bottom line, it is this son's baptism, and he is adamant that he wants his mother there. This son invited me, so I do not need your personal invitation. Whether Tyler joins me or not is also none of your concern. This is about the son, correct? If he made the choice to get baptized, he has the right to choose who attends. If you keep me or any others he invited away from his baptism, he'll be noticing that you will show your character to him. He is already not happy about how this is being handled. Please provide the location and time. So I heard nothing. Then I think it was the phone call. I think I'm out of sequence here a little bit. And then I texted my son Thursday because they went back to their dad Thursday when this weekend should have been my time with them. Now they're like, oh, we can get baptized. Let's switch. Let's trade. Yeah, let's do that parade. He wrote back, hi, due to the global pandemic, baptisms are being conducted with a very limited number of people and being streamed over Zoom. The body of elders asked me to inform you that your invitation has been revoked due to fact that you publicly shared, you wrote that, due to fact that you publicly shared your opposition against the Jehovah's Witnesses in court, as well as publicly on social media, and have a known association with apostates. Your presence, live with one. Your presence at this event will make others uncomfortable. will make them uncomfortable and distract from the occasion. This son is not the only one getting baptized at this event, and they cannot take the risk of having a video of this event with the other candidates on it being shared online. This son has been made aware that you will not be able to attend. Thanks. I wasn't going to record it.
Well, and again,
They just make
Either way, like,
because
They could, the very least, and even this would be just, they could have even just put it through Zoom just for him. Shut it off. Before and after.
Well, here's the thing. And on Zoom,
because my son was
cannot create a disturbance. You
like,
can't.
like what am I going to do?
And why? Like, we're not
and
malicious.
if this is such, and also
You know,
if this
it's
was
just
such a public thing and they're not keeping anything secret,
Yeah.
what
Why
would
hide
matter? I mean, why hide it? I had no intentions of recording this and using it on here.
Mm-hmm.
No, I had no intentions of that. So then I wrote to my son. Normally I don't involve him in this stuff, but he had been very adamant that he wanted me there, and now his dad is emailing me saying, you know, him and the elders, they're revoking it. So I sent him like a screenshot of his dad's message so that he knew that it was not me just like blowing this off. And I said, here's the screenshot regarding your baptism, the email I received. We expected this to be the case. I tried to attend, but it appears they are not going to honor my rights as your mother or your request that I attend. Sorry, love you. And he wrote back, hi, Mom. As the email has stated, I have been aware since earlier today that you would not be able to attend the Zoom meeting for my baptism because of the circumstances and concerns of the elders. Thank you for your concern, I think is what
Thank you for reaching out and letting me know, or something like that.
Thank you for reaching out and letting me know. So, so we did not see the baptism, obviously, of either one of our kids. And then that also kind of segues into this whole explain video.
Well, and
like I said,
and I had one thing that I wanted to
and he originally wanted to read this book a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I think he got maybe overwhelmed with information.
Crisis of conscience.
I've always had this like laying out.
Pointed to
Crisis of conscience.
If you are an XJW and you've not read it.
But I did want to point out
recommend.
too, like because we were talking about this while we were moving. I'm like, I think this benefits you more than it hurts you. Because he's going to get older and he's going to remember all this stuff. How hard they tried to keep you from seeing his baptism. Like,
and
how
I
they
asked him those
stifled you.
questions.
And I mean, he's going to realize it. Be like, oh, wait a second. Yeah, I'm not going to let him push me around anymore. If my mom wants to be at something, she's going to be there. I mean, I would hope that would be the case. Obviously, things can go either way.
You can go opposite, yeah.
I do think that this benefits you more than hurts
and
you.
I did bring up how is the 1947 was it Awake or Watchtower?
The 47 Awake that talks about excommunication.
And how it's pagan and it's wrong and all stuff. And so I asked my son, I said, so if that was in the publication before and it was so bad, I said, why is it okay now to excommunicate disfellowship people such as your mother and keep you and me apart?
Yeah.
And he just sat there and he's just like, I don't know.
Because it's new light.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I asked him some questions. I try to, like I said, I try to ask questions just to make them think. And I said, like, you know, are you really sure this is what you want? Like, I want to hear your perspective.
Yeah.
And a lot of times he'd have to sit there and think and say, I don't know. I said, so do you understand though? Like, these people are trying to keep you from your mom attending something that you want them. You want me there. You're fighting for it.
Yeah.
And they're telling you no. So
Yeah.
how do you feel about that?
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of getting them to think and getting their perspective.
Mhm.
And so one of the I wanted to share a bit from Crisis of Conscience. If you're a former witness, it was written by Ray Franz in 1982, early 80s, 82, I think.
It is kind of heavy.
It is very heavy. He was a former member of the governing body from 1970 or 71, I want to say, up until 79 or 8, May 1980.
I want to interject 1 second.
Yeah.
So my connection to this book, I got in nursing school after I left, took my TEAS test, got in. I was supposed to start right away. It got delayed. I had not quite read this book yet, but I wanted to. I hadn't had the time. And so I viewed this as my college until I could actually start school, because it took about 3 months before I could start when I was originally supposed to start. And it felt like a college course. Like it was deep, but it was very informative, very, very informative, and kind of helped me get through that particular spot in my life.
Yeah.
So
there's a quote in here from the 1974 Watchtower, and again, that would have been during like his tenure. That's when he would have been a member of the governing body, so he was part of a lot of the writing at that time. I'm actually kind of surprised. It's the Aid to Bible Understanding. Every Kingdom Hall you've ever been in probably has one on the back, has one in the library. He wrote that. He wrote that book. He was tasked with putting together the Aid to Bible Understanding. So I wanted to share, just so that it's not like, oh, well, you're just sharing stuff from some apostate book. This is directly from, I'm sharing it off of the JW website, Watchtower Online Library right here. And there's a quote. I'll read a little bit from the Watchtower here, but then there's a paragraph. It says, what results when a lie is let go unchallenged? Does not silence help the lie to pass as truth and have freer sway to influence many, perhaps to their serious harm? And I guess I should say this is from January 15th, 1974, Watchtower article, Can You Be True to God Yet Hide the Facts? It continues, it says, what happens when misconduct and immorality are allowed to go unexposed and uncondemned? Is this not like covering over an infection without any effort to cure it and keep it from spreading? And then it has this paragraph here. It starts, when persons are in great danger. And I actually want to share that direct, like from the book, though. And I'll finish reading that.
I don't think there's a page number for that one, is there?
I don't know if there is or not.
No, I don't see a page number.
So again, now we're back to like the top of the screen share that's showing right now. This is from page, it's in the forward, so I don't think it even has.
So it's in the forward of Crisis of Conscience. Okay.
So when persons are in great danger from a source that they do not suspect or are being misled by those they consider their friends, is it an unkindness to warn them? They may prefer not to believe the warning. They may even resent it. But does that free one from the moral responsibility to give that warning? So according to the 74 Watchtower, if you see something that's wrong, you have a moral obligation to point it out. And that's kind of what I've felt, that if I see something wrong, I never even necessarily felt an obligation to point out what's wrong. Like I kind of wanted to stand up for myself. And it's kind of evolved into, well, no, if this is what my children are going to be indoctrinated into, and there's all of these ugly sides to it, then yeah, I will point out what's wrong. Mm-hmm. And I will stand up for. And so those were the words from the 74 Watchtower. Now his words in this introduction, again from Ray Franz, he says, life is uncertain, and when a man dies, what he knows dies along with him, unless he passes it on while still in life. What this book contains is written out of a sense of obligation to people whom I sincerely love. In all good conscience, I can say that its aim is to help and not to hurt. If some of what is presented is painful to read, it was also painful to write. It is hoped that the reader will recognize that the search for truth need never be destructive of faith, that every effort to know and uphold truth will instead strengthen the basis for true faith. What those reading this information will do with it is, of course, their own decision. At least it will have been said, and a moral responsibility will have been met. So again, this was Ray Franz's attempt at, meeting his moral responsibility of letting an entire,
and you can
generations and overlapping generations of upcoming witnesses and ex-witnesses, what really goes on behind the scenes. So this is one of the things that I would like my children to understand and see, that like this is not a.
I do like how he worded it like that, though. Like it was, if it's painful to read, it was probably painful to write, because
Absolutely.
You sense that in the book.
Well, and I mean, it goes for us
sure.
and everybody else that's spoken out and anybody that's chosen to stay gone from the religion. It's like, it's not like it's been fun. It hasn't been pleasurable. We haven't gotten much out of it besides loss of family and friends. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing we have gotten is, I think, dignity. We've gotten our dignity back. And you have to, yes, you have to say something. You can't just let people step all over you.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you have a duty to stand up for yourself and for everyone around you that's in the same boat.
You said duty.
Nah.
Anyway, I'm going to take it off the screen. Just like so, this is the table of contents, and so there are some highlights on here. 1975. I highly recommend people check that out, as well as 1914 in this generation. But Chapter 6 on double standards, where they refer to Mexico and Malawi.
Oh yeah,
that was on my notes.
That is.
And I was going to bring it up. I was actually you beat me to the punch there. But
again, talk about things that are painful to read.
We talked about
Imagine
that
being painful to write
before. I'm pretty
going back afterwards and realizing, oh, I was actually part of the people that condoned this.
Yep.
I got to imagine that was pretty tough for Ray to write.
Yeah, he made some big decisions that he had to live with.
I remember sharing a post on Facebook after I got done with that book and acknowledging that I'm so glad he did it, but it would have taken major guts.
Oh yeah,
it would have been so hard, but I'm glad he did it.
Yeah.
And also
I remember seeing that post. It was a good one.
You remember seeing it? Went like
I saw it afterwards.
Yeah, you're stalking my page after I unblocked you.
No, after we started.
You were blocked for years.
After we started dating.
I know that's what I mean. So that means you would have like stalked it back after we reconnected and I unblocked you.
Well,
because for years you're a witness. Like all the witnesses, I was just like boop, 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 block. I'm like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want you to see what I'm doing in my life. You have no I don't need that. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, you were one of those that were blocked. Sorry. Anyway, not anymore.
Where did you block me? No, I was already gone.
No, you were out. Yeah. I probably would have blocked you or stalked you at some point.
Though, on Facebook.
No, not till
recently.
Yeah, till more recently. Yeah.
This year, probably.
I've been friends with your sister on Facebook for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what I meant to also say in regards to this book, and it was some comment you made. I don't know. I also have a book that the title is Out with Consequences.
By Debbie McDaniel.
Yeah, so that's another one I read when I was leaving and trying to put my life back together. Mm-hmm. I think it's very fitting.
Debbie's very cool. She's I've interacted a little bit with her actually on Facebook. She was the 2-part documentary series by Oxygen, The Witnesses, back in February last year. The first episode was Debbie's story.
Oh.
I
And
don't know if I remember this or not. I can't keep it all straight. I don't know.
It was horrific. It was very triggering for me to watch it because a lot of the things that I guess, but
I think it related a lot to her story too.
Yeah,
if I remember.
Some of the things of abuse, and I hate to say even like some of the methods, but some of the things that I heard in that sounded eerily familiar to some of the instances that I know of. Like you said, you know of like 4 or 5 people right off the top of your head in your time as a witness that have been sexually abused. I know of several off the top of my head as well, and some of what she wrote was deja vu, like, oh, that's exactly what happened with.
Yeah.
And like, it doesn't seem like it should be something that's common. So it was like, holy shit. I was like, like I had to take a break. Like I finished it the next night. Yeah. So yeah,
I do remember her story.
Because I grabbed some of my books off the shelf, which I leave on my shelf.
Yeah.
Hoping maybe someday.
Yeah.
My kids will get curious.
Yeah.
So I never push them. I never push them on anything. And I live my life.
Yep.
I try to respect their wishes, and they have to respect mine because I'm mom. But
I wanted to read that one, that I'm Perfect, You're Doomed.
And I don't remember very well. I don't remember these books very well because we need to. I feel like we've talked about this a little bit.
I mentioned it on.
Yeah, but here's the actual book. Yeah, here's like the actual book. Now I have not really looked through it since, and it's been very strange for me, kind of going down this path of doing this podcast. Is now I'm going back and looking at things from like 6 years ago, 5 years ago, or even before that, and like revisiting. So it's like, I guess I'm opening the wound back up. I don't know. But this was Exiting the JW Cult, A Healing Handbook, was probably the book I got after Crisis of Conscience, or maybe around the same time, because there was a really good Facebook group that was huge when I was leaving that's no longer exists because the admins just got burned out, is my understanding. I could be wrong.
XJW Facebook
but that's
group
like what got
is
me.
what it was called.
Yeah. It got me through that really rough phase of when you're first leaving.
That's like what Reddit was for me.
Yeah, and Reddit I'm not into.
Yeah.
So like
I wasn't until I left.
We were on the forums and that we needed, I guess, at that time. But I'm like, I gotta get my hands on Crisis of Conscience because you're always hearing about it on these XJW sites, or I don't know, not sites, but whatever. But by Bonnie Zeman, I think is how you pronounce her name.
Excellent.
So I mean, some of it I was like, doesn't really apply to me. Other parts were good. I think it's just good to have. If you are leaving right now or thinking about it, or maybe now for a long time you're trying to heal.
Yeah.
This is someone who went through it, so they can understand your perspective.
Well, yeah, because she dealt with the trauma of leaving, and afterwards,
I'm showing the book.
She kind of did the same thing that I did, or I guess I did the same thing she did. After I left, I decided to become a therapist, and that's her background. When she left, she became a therapist, and so this is why I mentioned it on the Goat Light's live stream last week, that it's a great book for therapists. If you don't want to educate your therapist and spend $150 an hour to do so, give them this after your first session.
It's not a big book.
It's not a big book. So here, check this out between now and when I see you here. And
it's thin.
Yeah.
It
would take a therapist a week or two to read, maybe.
You can even skim through it. I mean, the actual content of it is around 100 and
probably 150,
160. But for me personally, this was my exiting college course. These two things were Crisis of Conscience.
Your master class in living.
Trying to kind of get through that part since I was still a little bit mentally in, but physically out. So I kind of did reverse a little bit, somewhat other people do.
Yeah, Pony.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which I've always said has to be like a special kind of hell. So like that's got to be fucked. It's like, oh my God. To be on the outside and think I want to be back in. So I'm glad you read those and figured it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Good work. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good job.
And now we're here.
Now
we're here, the three of us.
And yeah, it is.
I'm trying to create a community, safe place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would highly recommend any of those books, and even the.
They're all good.
The Out with Consequences. Speaking of like a short read, I mean, that's
And I had there's one book I realized now I never really read, but I have ownership of it. Like when I was going through a phase, like of this, like trying to get books that were more popular within the ex-witnesses. The other one was 30 Years a Watchtower Slave.
30 Years a Watchtower.
I don't remember who it was by. Sorry, but
it's like a German name.
Yeah, I never actually read that one, but it's on my shelf. All the rest of these I have actually read these four that I brought with, and
I somewhat disagree with some of what he says about talking about it'll build your faith if you actually I don't agree with the idea of faith and belief in that fashion. And so he has another book afterwards, after Crisis of Conscience, called In Search of Christian Freedom.
You're talking about
Ray France, yes.
I was like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, after Crisis of Conscience, he wrote another book called In Search of Christian Freedom. And
that one I've not read.
I have not, and I don't know that I would.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
The way I understand it, this is why the witnesses have it all wrong. And the other book is essentially why Christianity has it all right. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I disagree with it, but it could be a good read. The one that I do want to, the 30 Years of Watchtower Slave, I'd like to read that.
Well, it's
and also, and at some point, and I think it's even the abridged version. But
I don't know.
I want to read The Gentile Times Reconsidered by Carl Olaf Johnson.
Johansson.
Yeah, and that is essentially, he wrote that during about the same time, during the early 80s, and all of his research into why 607 BCE is wrong and why 587 BCE is very much the accepted date for when Jerusalem was destroyed, which completely debunks the witness theology.
No, it doesn't.
And so, oh yeah, it doesn't. I forgot. You're right. So, but yeah, that was, I don't know. It's definitely interesting. There's a plethora of material and things too. And so we should maybe look at, well,
I don't know if
we
really
talk about a plethora of material, we could briefly talk about how there is not as much JW material happening, being printed.
Oh, yeah. That was a shock.
That was
that blew me away.
Shocker.
Yeah,
did we save a screenshot of that or something?
I'm actually going to look for that right now.
Where they're reducing the amount of publications.
Yeah.
New publications a year.
So my friend, and he wouldn't mind at all, Jason Wynn, he would be honored to be, he's actually talked about coming on the show. He posted it was a link to a letter from the Body of Elders, and it was referring to the printing of publications. And so they've been cutting down on publications forever.
They were starting to around the time I think you and I left. They were going down to it was like one a week a month or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Or maybe it was one. Maybe the time I left, it was one a week, one Watchtower per month.
Yeah.
It's starting to transition to that, I think.
And so
I didn't know it was great to do. I remember thinking, "Oh, we're going to do our return visits. How are we going to get our time?"
Right. I think they still had the study version of the Watchtower, and then the handout version of the Watchtower too, which was considerably smaller than the study version.
Yeah.
But they kept making the study version smaller.
And then the simplified version of the study was like super like.
Because wouldn't we do sometimes
childlike language? We'll just
if there was like something they wanted to do after the meeting, they would do like we would go over an article from a simplified version. It was easier. I feel like we did that a few times to save time. I remember Dad, because Dad was always the conductor.
Yeah,
being excited. He's like,
and he was like the best Watchtower study conductor like ever. He was.
He was fun because he would rip on people from the stage. We used to have.
I gotta admit that your dad
this
was
one sister in the hall that I grew up in. She would him and her had like something. They had something going on, like a thing that they would do, a banter that they would do, and she would like comment. It would be kind of snarky or something, and he would kick her out. Get out.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. He was good.
You have people like messaging me trying to like. I have like some furniture posted for sale. Stuff keeps popping up and up. But this was the announcements for
that furniture
July. So 2022 public magazines and new literature feature. We are pleased to inform you that the governing body decided that one new issue of the public edition of the Watchtower and one new issue of Awake will be produced for 2022. Additionally, it's been decided to reprint 2 issues of the Watchtower and 2 issues of Awake from previous years. Listed below are the subjects of the public magazines for 2022. So for January and February, a reprint of Watchtower number 3 from 2018, Does God Care About You?
What struck me personally, what I noticed is the sequence of the subject matter, how it like built throughout the year. And maybe others will notice this too. I don't know.
I can see that a little bit. Yeah.
That's what I personally picked up on.
And then March and April, reprint of Awake number 3 from 2018, Help for Those Who Grieve. May and June, new issue of Watchtower number 1, 2022. General topic, Why Is There So Much Hate? July and August, new issue of Awake number 1, 2022. General topic, Is This World Falling Apart? September and October, reprint of Watchtower number 2, 2019. Is Life Worth Living? And November and December, reprint of Awake number 1, 2019. Will We Ever Feel Safe and Secure?
So it's one magazine for 2 months, and a lot of them are reprints. What they're doing, 2 or 3 new ones?
2 new per
year.
And this is after they've cut from 32 pages down to 16 every magazine. So they've cut them in half. There used to be 2 a month.
So like I get like they're probably trying to save money,
Oh yeah.
you know, but why reprints? Why are they not
Because it
just
also saves
coming
money.
up?
It saves money, and it's just pounding the
Mm.
indoctrination back in.
I guess.
They
Like,
don't even
why
have to-
write new stuff if they don't have to?
You don't have to come
Just
up with new
going
shit.
over-
Just keep hammering the old. So
That
yeah.
that was shocking.
Yeah,
So they're
I
gonna,
was
Yeah.
do you think they're
very
going to start
surprised.
just fading out the publications altogether and just go full?
Well, okay.
internet,
Well, actually,
It
so
would
full
surprise me.
televangelism?
I
that
didn't
part
read the
went to
next the next announcement on there, but yeah, the number 2, the tools on jw.org related to periodicals and other literature are in the process of being updated and will gradually appear in the new literature feature. So they are they're revamping everything.
Yeah.
So
They're becoming
they're going online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So there is that. Yeah, they're just going to be reprinting. They went from, again, one new. Somebody asking about furniture.
Two new publications a year.
2 new magazines, the equivalent of one magazine that they used to print
Twice a month.
twice a month. Well, and this is 4 a month, because there used to be 2 watchtowers,
yeah,
2
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
There used to be 4 32-page magazines a month, and now there's one
side note.
32-page.
Did you ever
media.
pretend to be Bethelites at home as an act of play?
No, God, no.
We did that.
No.
We would pretend we were in the shipping department and shipping out books and magazines, or we
Oh.
pretend to give talks. It was so much
Pretend to give
Oh, the
talks. I
talks
remember
when I
that.
was really
But
young, we
but
had a little podium.
Yeah, I
there.
think every kid did that, but we also pretended we'd pretend we were. What video is that? Something organization.
Oh,
Blue cover. What's it called?
organized to accomplish our ministry.
Because it shows how everything's made. It shows you're on Bethel and how it's from beginning to end. And
Yep.
so we pretend we were.
The organization behind the name. Jehovah's Witnesses organization behind the name.
Yeah, it just came out when we were kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
No, Organized to Accomplish
very
Our Ministry. That's the book.
it's me going, woo!
So-
Just kind of I don't know, the memory came to my head.
Yeah.
We used to do that all the time.
No, my mom told me when I got to teen years, she's like, I knew you were never going to go to Bethel. I knew that was not you.
That's
I knew
not
all
your
this
thing.
stuff. No. So we never, very rarely did we even have family studies.
Yeah, we didn't really either. It's one of the reasons I got baptized later.
Yeah.
Because it took so long for my
Yeah.
parents to study with me. So I could get baptized.
There would be little bursts where we would do them every week for 2
It makes
months.
me feel a little better though that your parents,
But-
everyone kind of thought of as this
My parents?
Yes, a lot of people thought that your parents were gold standard.
Really?
That they were also all over the place with family stuff. It makes me feel a little better.
No, yeah, no. We never did family study.
I don't know how your dad
Yeah, we
even you've been
didn't
so
really
busy.
We would study back when we had the book studies on Thursdays or whatever day you had it. We had it
Yeah.
on Thursdays. We a lot of times, if it was just me and dad or me and dad, we would do those. Mom would be working or something. If she was home, she'd sit in, and then he would count that as our family study.
Yeah.
But that
Do we have
wasn't
her
even
name?
every
Wait.
week.
Yeah,
Anyway,
your sister.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oops.
Yeah, I don't really know.
So I would have loved to get to just way over already. To back to that Facebook post I did, and where it was particularly classmates are asking questions. I am sorry, I don't think we're gonna get to it today.
Yeah.
And I know we had talked about doing a different forum. We felt we did not want to do this live stream because this is also almost akin a little bit to Finding Paradise for all the information we had to cover.
There was so much.
So much that it was
Well,
not. It was.
We
just,
never talked about, if we want to, David Splain's talk.
Right.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't- but I definitely recommend. When we shared it to the Facebook page, the David Splain thing.
It's unsettling.
It is, but I
Yeah.
also I guess to give it away a little bit is at the end, Lloyd Emmons talks about how he views it as a good thing.
That was in the beginning because I
Yeah.
remember I heard
Throughout,
that.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's because
He does,
you
yeah.
tell people not to do something, they're going to do it.
Mhm.
But you're also going to get the hardcore ones. They're just going to double, triple down. And then our worry is, are our kids one of those?
Yeah,
Right.
Right.
Because they mentioned more than once the, we can throw up the the banner about it. We won't
Yeah.
spend a ton of time
Yeah.
talking about it.
Yeah, Pam just asked if I want to go to Patrick's or if we're still podcasting. So.
We should have a little thing up there that says recording in progress.
When you want to go to Patrick's, like 15 minutes, let's go get a beer and a
Yeah.
burger.
That's- yeah.
I'm hungry as
Hungry as shit.
I'm hungry.
You want to
Mother-
eat? You want to eat
I don't
shit?
want to eat shit.
Again.
Is there a
I eat shit for
I eat
breakfast.
pieces of shit.
Is that from Sandlot?
No.
Billy Matt.
Yeah,
Oh,
Billy.
yeah.
I eat pieces of shit like you for
Happy Gilmore.
breakfast.
Happy Gilmore.
You eat shit for breakfast?
You eat pieces of shit. for breakfast? No. Anyway, no, they went
David
repeatedly.
Blaine.
David Spleen. They
Explain.
he talked.
Remember?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
Spleen.
gonna
Let me explain this to you.
Splains.
They mansplain this to you.
Yeah,
Man,
David
explain.
explains about
Splains about
Prostates.
prostates
Remember a pun's gonna get in
atheists.
there now.
and all their poison.
and all their poison.
And again,
Yeah.
Javier Ortiz, like throughout the video, he actually did like the old JW trick that you'd have your kids do to pay attention. You'd give
Are
them a
you
list.
sure?
Were
I
you-
thought that was my post. Or did I not catch that part? He
You
said,
might have,
because
but he
I
did.
was thinking
He
like,
said, "I'm gonna not just poison." He said, "I'm gonna keep track of
Oh.
anything that I identify as hate speech or
Yeah.
something like
oh,
that,
yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
be good.
including poison." And Kim,
Because that's what came
Sylvia,
to my mind. Like, where I'm
Yeah.
like, and I put that in as part of my post for my personal
Yeah.
Facebook page. I'm like, I wish I could give my kids a heads up and be like, how about you keep tally marks for how many times they say poison, referring to your mother? You know,
Right.
like that's just this terrible, poisonous person.
Yeah.
Where,
Yeah.
you know,
So I mean, but they talk repeatedly about, because he goes on and on about, apostates are lying and don't look at the man behind the curtain. That's essentially what the entire talk was, to the point where he even said, just because somebody's found guilty in the eyes of the law doesn't mean they're found guilty in the eyes of God. Like,
they
they're
are doing
literally
cyber
justifying
damage
criminality.
control so
It's
much.
so
right now.
much damage
Yeah.
control. They are just
Just
in a
because
tailspin
things are
right now.
settled outside of court doesn't mean
Right.
that we are guilty.
Yeah, he literally asked, just because someone settles something out of court, does that mean they're guilty?
Yes.
Or even what they were
That's what it
using-
is.
Remember what they were using to explain how the judicial system works was just crazy.
I haven't gotten to that part.
Yeah, wait.
It doesn't even make sense. Oh yeah, like
I'm like,
any of
oh
them that
my
are lost
gosh.
is because it's probably because the judge was paid under the table.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
we could go
yeah.
on
Or,
and
like, it's
on
just-
about
yeah.
what he was saying
People
No.
being
as
paid
far as
under
the
the
judicial
table.
system, how it worked, and what he's feeding to witnesses is, is that's how it goes, and that's why you shouldn't believe them. Like it was.
Honestly, I need to watch it again. I want to
Yeah,
watch
we're
it.
gonna have to.
Like, honestly, I feel like we should do almost like an Lloyd Evans did with that. We should do
Just a panel.
I almost feel like we should. Like, there's so
we gotta
much
wait till it
there. It's
comes
almost
out. the
3
actual-
hours.
yeah, we'd have to.
But
the
not
talk
the
isn't out
actual
itself.
talk.
That
Oh,
one
yeah,
gets
that's
leaked, so it'll be out next week.
That's
Yeah, the actual talk is not like it's just the talk is not out on
Yeah.
jw.org yet or whatever.
Yeah, and it's only 30.
So
minutes.
only
Oh,
the actual talk is a lot shorter, but we only have access to Lloyd Evans right now
Yeah.
and his panel because he's the only one that has this like video.
Yeah.
And then they're breaking it down. I mean, it was good breakdown of stuff.
Yeah, it was very
but-
good.
oh, absolutely.
We-
I think he's
we
right,
did
too.
skip
I think-
through a lot of the
Kind of like what happened with you and your boy. I agree with him. I think that's going to be good for people like us. Because what happens when you tell somebody to not go look at something? They're going to be like, "Whoa, wait, why?
Wait, what are they all? What are
Why
they
can't I
saying?
look?"
Why are there all these
Or
lawsuits?
I remember he
happening?
was talking about that. That sounds interesting.
Mhm.
I got to
So,
see
yeah.
now.
Well, and it was funny too. One of the things that I had, one of the little conversation points back to the conversation with the coordinator that I talked to Friday night in his entryway for an hour. He talked about court cases and how consistently every time Jehovah's people are proven to be. I'm like, whoa! What court system are you talking about? And I didn't even know at the time. But just the night before, so Thursday night, the case in Montana, the Lexi Nunez versus Watchtower case, they posted more severe sanctions against them, against the witnesses in that case, and they're being fined like $500 per day, as well as $11,000 some dollars to cover all of her legal fees and other things that have accumulated as well.
Is that the one that won the $34 million? It was overturned.
Yeah, it was that one.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it looks like it might still be overturned, but now at least all of her legal fees are being covered. Like, she's not going to be out anything. And it looks like, which I guess small consolation, whatever. And the organization is being fined, and it's going to, I think, continually cost them money. Mark O'Donnell actually posted it on Twitter. I saw it this afternoon. I was like, oh, that's funny. That judgment was passed the night before this elder was telling me that every case is won. Like, they all win. And I told him as well, I said, we are repeatedly told by the governing body, anything you hear negative is a lie. Just, it's all false. He's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. And I've had several witnesses make that comment of, well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this video on jw.org, here's the link. Watch it.
Yeah.
They tell you if you hear anything negative, it's a lie and you shouldn't listen to it. In David Splain's talk, he flat out says, again, if something turns negative, if the conversation is negative, walk away, get out. Like, if the conversation gets a little bit uncomfortable, you just shouldn't even stick around.
Yeah.
No, that's how you learn and grow.
Right. But they don't want that.
Yeah.
No.
So anyway, I
just highly recommend just listen to, because we were trying to pick apart, what do we listen to from this convention? There's so much stuff.
Bad.
And we're like, okay, let's focus on this one because it's about us.
Yeah,
I guess. Us in the media and how they're, because as you mentioned, there's one person in particular who was kind of ramped up about it that normally does not get ramped up about this kind of stuff.
Right, which made me.
And if they're saying that's what it's
yeah,
like, ooh, okay, well, then let's pay attention to this. And we could go on and pick it apart.
Yeah.
But I think it's just best people watch it for themselves.
It's pretty easily pick apartable.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't take that much.
There's so many times I was like, what the?
How many times were we sitting there? Because I was also working on divorce papers while we were driving, and so I was listening to it as well.
I was driving. Let's make
Yeah.
You were working.
I was not driving on a laptop doing divorce papers while listening to this YouTube video.
What a multitasker.
She was driving while this video was playing, and I don't know how many. It was like a nonstop stream of me just. Oh, fuck you. I don't know how many times.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I don't know how many times I said, oh, fuck you, or are you fucking kidding me in the length of that talk.
Yeah.
So, again,
it's good.
It's,
but it's bad.
Salty language. And I honestly, I hope my kids are listening and I hope they are checking this out. It is disturbing. It is, and I mentioned it on the Facebook post, it is the most disgusting rhetoric and manipulation that I have seen from this organization. To
me, it's this, and then it's the bunker videos right under it.
Right.
For me personally.
Yep.
It's like, whoa, it's shocking.
Mm-hmm. And he so
it's
many
not really
appeals to
new
emotion.
information. It's very much emotional manipulation.
Yeah, it's just ramped up more. It's and it's nonstop for, I don't know that we've ever really had just, 35 minutes of just apostates, poison.
I think we should be joyous. They're bleeding.
Yeah. That's the thing.
They're
damage control.
Heel digging mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't even remember what I wrote, something about because of an organization that is seeing record numbers running for the door.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Running. So
just crumbling.
I had hoped that my children, our children, your children, not our children, we don't have children.
We don't have children.
Our respective children would have, figured this out before any of them made any decisions that will impact them for the rest of their lives. It is going to now.
Yeah.
That is one thing I said to
but
God damn it. That's his name. That even if he decides to change his mind and leave, he knows that at least I will still be there for him.
Right.
That now he's made this decision. If he changes his mind later, I can promise you, I will still be there.
It's so much, I'm not going to say it's so much easier to leave, but it's far easier to fall upon a nice social structure these days.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, because you got
and I'm glad they do have some
multiple
of that.
people. It's so easy to reach out.
That.
So it's
I didn't really have that.
Yeah.
Social structure to reach out to,
I don't think
start from scratch pretty much. I had a best friend and my sister.
Yeah. But now it's like, well, I guess I don't see those people anymore. But I got all these other people.
In some ways I'm kind of hoping for
a
situation similar to one of the people we had on Finding Paradise. that had kind of two
Yeah.
worlds. I don't know. We'll see. But holy cow!
Well,
Let's go
this
get
is-
Patrick's.
Yeah, no, I mean, but I'm thinking more of not because
I suppose. Yeah.
more
But-
of my if my kids listen.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let's get Patrick's.
Yeah,
So-
let's
a big
get
old-
food.
That's
We've earned it.
Cheese melt.
Ooh.
We-
Lil Catsups 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like this is becoming a how I met your mother kind of thing when it comes to my story. It's coming. Oh, it's totally gonna happen. Like it just keeps leading you on. Sorry. There's just too much crap going on right
Get there.
now. We'll get there. Maybe I have a goal for my personal Independence Day. That's when I release it.
There you
August
go.
31st.
Yeah.
It'll be 6 years for me. Maybe that's my
August
goal.
31st, I'll be in Ohio, I believe,
Okay, we'll record it before that.
and then release it on the 31st.
Yeah.
There we go.
Ta-da!
Figure something
We
out.
got a plan. Okay,
Just
well,
don't tell
So-
anybody.
just don't.
Yeah, we won't. We're
yeah,
not gonna tell people
don't
that it wasn't
tell
that
anyone.
way.
Just it's a secret between you and me
and me.
and everyone else.
You can't keep shit from me. I'm in the room.
We live in the same house.
All right.
All right. Catsups 5 in the books. Thank you guys for listening.
This was a long
Again,
one.
yeah, it was a
hard
long one.
Very,
like the
very
book says,
personal.
if any of it was difficult to listen to, it was probably difficult to say.
Yeah.
So
We
right.
kept our shit together.
I don't know.
Yes.
Don't know
I
how
didn't know if I would.
don't know how to wrap it on that. Cheers, guys.
There it is. To Carol.
To Carol.
Later, Carol. Thanks, folks.